classmates. My name is Will Bass. Currently in my second semester in graduate school for exercise science at LR, obviously. Uh, just wanted to take a few minutes, go over my research concept with you guys. So, some background on why I chose to do the topic that I did. Me and an athletic trainer for the UMBC men's basketball team. We were having a conversation about trying to pick out specific athletes and what actually are good markers for what could be athletic performance. One of the major things that we talked about was the ability to jump and to run fast. So we basically equated that to the size of the gastroc, the gastrocnemius, and the Achilles tendon length. So just anecdotally, usually the longer the Achilles, the more of a vertical the athlete will have. Same thing with the gastroc. Usually the smaller the gastroc, the better vertical an athlete will have. And that's partially based on the Achilles tendon kind of acts like a rubber band. So as you jump, the more you can load a stronger tensile rubber band, the more force it will actually, more reactive force it'll have getting back up. Then with the gastroc being smaller as more athletic is more so it's a motor unit recruitment thing. Typically, fast twitch fibers are a lot smaller in cross section than slow twitch fibers. So for an athlete to have a smaller gastroc, you would kind of consider them to have a more adequate ratio of fast twitch to slow twitch. So you would have a lot more fast twitch and slow twitch in somebody who has a smaller gastroc. So the purpose of my research is to actually we'll go ahead and go with we'll do purpose. I just want to see if there's a difference in vertical jump height from a counter movement vertical jump, so it's a 2-footed vertical jump, then a non-counter movement. So you're just sitting in the bottom, not really the bottom of a squat, but you're sitting in like a quarter squat, and then you'll just explode up from there. And then a single leg. So we're going to give 2 steps and have them try to touch as high on the vertex as possible. And then I wanted to test a 20-yard dash time, just because specific to basketball, 60 feet is usually the distance between the top of the key and the basket. So how fast you can get an outlet pass and score the basketball. That's kind of the purpose of this. I'm going to break it down into ratios of Achilles length versus tibia length, and I'll go through percentiles. And then we're also going to do gastroc cross-sectional size. So measure from lateral side of tibia to medial side of tibia at the biggest portion, which is usually the middle portion of the gastroc on both legs. Let's see, so my research questions, I had 8 of them, but it was just seeing the difference in the specific vertical jumps and 20-yard dash times between the larger gastroc and the smaller gastroc. And then the 4 tests with the longer Achilles length versus a shorter Achilles length. And basically, I'm getting the Achilles length. I forgot to mention this. I'm getting the Achilles length from a measurement of the top of the calcaneus, so right at the origin of the Achilles, into the insertion right at the soleus, which can be palpated and found. And then we'll kind of do that ratio and then put it into percentiles to determine the 2 groups of each. And the way that this research is broken down, you'll be able to take my sample size. I want 100 to 120 athletes to be able to give me a larger sample size to work with. Doing like an n equals 5 is not going to cut it for this. It'll be basically anecdotal at that point. So I need as large of a sample size as I can. Usually 100 is pushing it for kind of a short time to get this stuff off the ground. Let's see. So my participants, I'm still coming back to LR at some point. So I was doing it for the I don't know, LR athletes. So I was gonna try to get 100 to 120 LR athletes between the ages of 18 to, I said 22. I'd be willing to go 24. I mean, it's not a big deal to go to a higher age bracket. I would just like to stay within I'd like to stay within 4 years. Let's see. So the only like exclusion criteria outside of they have to be LR athletes, they also have to be cleared by an ATC, so their team ATC. I'm not recruiting like general population students. I only want athletes in this, simply because most athletes have gone through the vertical jump process, so they know exactly what's asked of them. It won't take nearly as long to explain it, and there's not going to be nearly as many faults, so the time it takes to collect data will be significantly lessened if you go with athletes rather than just the random students. So the procedures, after I got the whole recruitment process, after I got all the coaches' approval, I'd go to the players or go to the athletes and just say, hey, this is the study that I want to do, give them the whole informed consent, tell them the risks, the rewards, and then I would have them set up an appointment with me. Let's see, we'd probably meet in Moretz 106, just the exercise phys lab, go through and get height, weight, and then do all the measurements for the tibia length, Achilles length, and gastroc cross section. I would do the whole putting them into groups. They would not know which group they were in until far after all the data was collected. So then I would just take them up to the auxiliary gym after that. After they got their height, weight, and measurements done, I would do each test, go through, or actually do a warm-up first. The warm-up's actually written down in the methodology. I don't want to bore you guys with that whole process. But so we go through, after the warm-up, we would do the counter movement vertical jump to start off with. So you get 3 practice attempts and then 3 real attempts. That's the same across the board until you get to the sprint. And then it's 90 seconds of rest in between practice, and then 120 seconds of rest in between the actual attempts. You take the top 3 attempts and you take the top 1, so the highest vertical that they got out of that set, and that's their value for that one. So then I would laser time the 20-yard sprints. We would do 2 to warm them up. We would do 2 at 60, 3 at 75, 3 at 90, and then start with 120 seconds of rest and get them through their first attempt at 100, then 120 seconds of rest, second attempt, rest, third attempt, and the fastest attempt gets the actual value. Hope you guys have enjoyed my my talk on my research concept. This should be fun and relatively easy to undertake. All right. Hope you guys have a great one.